What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford, live from the Spanish language radio booth here at Dyken Park. Tyler's at his house, where he should be, where I wish I was. I wish I was at my house and not sitting here in a vacant Spanish radio booth. If you can see behind my, I believe that's my left shoulder, you'll see Francisco Romero's ode to his beloved Arizona Wildcats right behind me with the basketball hoop behind me. But yeah, that's where I am. I am watching. The roof just opened, which is a sight that you never see. So
Come
um, I
on.
I get the roof open in front of me. I get to watch the grounds crew take care of the infield while I talk to Tyler about what I think is a turning point in the Astros season. I know we're saying that after they lost 8-0 today in the series finale, but the two games before that, Tyler, were probably about as encouraging a two games as you've seen from this team basically all season. You know, we talked after the Seattle series. We didn't want to say must win. You didn't want to say must sweep, but it would have not felt great if this team either looked lifeless or lethargic and dropped two of three or got swept by the Rangers. But as it stands, they took two of three from the Rangers. They will head to Minneapolis to face a bad Twins team. Still 10 games under 500, but I think all in all, this was a pretty encouraging weekend from this club.
Yeah, you got to win series, and they did. It's also nice to have a series win wrapped up going into the last game of the series. You'd like to win them all, but you will take two of three, and you will have to take two of three for the foreseeable future, because again they won a series and are still 10 games under 500. So if I'm doing my math correct, I think you'd have to win 10 series in a row going two out of three in order to get back to 500. So got some work to do, but yes, certainly encouraging to see that.
You know, the way it played out, obviously, look, they're playing their interstate rivals. It's a division opponent. I don't think the silver boot gets these guys all hot and bothered or amped up or more ready to play than normal. But look, there's a little more energy in the ballpark. Bigger crowds than they had against Seattle, and you could just kind of tell that they kind of turned it on with a little bit of an edge, a little bit more urgency. Again, I know we're saying this after they got shut out on Sunday, but they had won the first two games, and I think there was something that happened on Friday. Obviously, Spencer Arrighetti went out there and was incredible, and we will discuss Spencer's pitching and kind of what he has meant to the rotation in a little bit. But I think what he said after Friday's game, and I'll get it up here so everybody can read it if you're watching on YouTube, and if you didn't see it, this was Spencer Arrighetti after his start on Friday, and this was unprompted. He wasn't really asked about the state of the team. He wasn't asked kind of how the clubhouse was feeling. Spencer was very happy after the game on Friday, and when Spencer is happy, he rambles. He rambles a lot. He talks a lot. It's great content for us. Like I'm not going to tell him to stop talking anytime soon, but he just kind of gets into a random rambling stream of conscious mode, and this was part of it. You know, he said, I know it sounds dumb to say where we're sitting right now, but this is a really special group, and I believe in every single player that's in this locker room right now. And I think we need to take it a little more personally. I'm sure there's stuff being said right now that makes it seem bleak. I don't think it feels that way in here. There's no quit in this locker room. We work the same way every day, win or lose, and I really do believe in everyone in here. Tyler, I'm not a huge like this stuff normally doesn't move me. Like I don't really like get it doesn't really do much for me, like the rah-rah rallying cry sort of stuff. You know, even the times when Carlos Correa would stand up and kind of deliver the state of the team, state of the union, like it never really moved me much because it's more of just like, all right, go show me what you're going to do on the field. Like you can talk a big game all you want, but you got to go out and perform. But I kind of felt in some ways like they needed that. Like someone needed to say that. Like someone needed, especially with Correa being out and not around the team right now while he's recovering, with Jose Altuve, and we'll get to Altuve in a second, but Altuve not being the kind of guy that's ever going to say anything like that publicly. Jordan Alvarez really not being that kind of guy either. It felt like just maybe just for morale, for to get the fan base and to get the public kind of back in your corner, it felt like that needed to be said. And I think it carried maybe more weight than a lot of these kind of eyewash rah-rah statements do.
Yeah, you make a great point a lot of times about how in baseball it's really hard to tell effort on the field. You can't see it in the same way that you see other sports, whether somebody's trying their hardest or is lollygagging or whatever. And so, yeah, having quotes like this is very important to see what it's like in the locker room and in the dugout. And you're right. Sometimes this can be eyewash, great baseball phrase. But I don't think this was, especially coming from a guy that is not the veteran leader of the clubhouse. Like he's not going to say something that is not true or is like trying to make them look better than they are because he's not in a position to do that. Like Altuve could say something like that, even if everybody else was not feeling great. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see that there's not quit in the locker room, and as we've said, there shouldn't be, right? I mean, it's still May, like there's still plenty of time. You're gonna have guys coming back, and apparently you're gonna have guys getting injured, which we will get to. But yeah, very encouraging quote for sure, and very encouraging performance from Arrighetti. I mean, my goodness, he was awesome.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there right now. Let's talk about Arrighetti. You know, I don't think you can call him an ace yet. He's not. I don't think he's there yet. He will readily acknowledge that he's got a lot of stuff to improve on. You know, he's only made I think 42 big league starts, but what he is doing right now, these 6 starts, he's been an ace in every sense of the word. He's got a 1.50 ERA. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every one of his starts since coming up from AAA. He has been everything that this rotation needs and more. And he's doing it with a chip on his shoulder from, not making the team out of camp. And I guess we can relitigate that in a little bit because a lot of people were very mad on Friday night that he did not start the season on the opening day roster. But the curveball's been electric. He's been able to throw that new sinker he has enough to right-handed hitters to keep them off his fastball. If that sounds familiar, Hunter Brown did the same thing a couple of years ago. But it has been vintage Spencer Arrighetti. His misses are more competitive. He's generating the chase that we know he can generate with his stuff, but he's more around the zone. He's getting guys to expand, and he has been everything this pitching staff has needed and more.
So Spencer Arrighetti is 6'2". Baseball Savant measures extension, like where the ball is released. Would you like to take a guess at the height that it is measured at his extension point? So 6'2", where he's releasing it. Just take a guess at what it seems like it is in his extension.
Is it 7'8"?
7.4. He is in the 99th percentile in extension. So he is just like Mr. Fantastic throwing the ball, which creates a ton of deception. The fastball has been really, really valuable this year, despite, he's averaging like 93 on it. It's not like it's a super fast pitch. But it's been so valuable, and batters are hitting 75 off of his curveball, which he's thrown more than any other pitch this season. I mean, he's been very, very good. He has a 50% whiff rate on his curveball, and he has thrown it 180 times. So half the time somebody swings at that curveball, they're completely whiffing, which is that will play for sure.
And one of the things that I asked Christian Vasquez, who caught him, I asked him after the game, kind of what makes the curveball, like what is setting the curveball apart? And he mentioned the low release point. He mentioned, because he gets that extension, you're right, but he also has that kind of side, like low release point. And when he releases it from that release height, it really does a number on hitters who kind of don't know where it's going to end up. They think they see it out of hand as a strike, and then it just completely dives. So, I don't know, man. Like I look, I've covered 7 no-hitters. I think I'm pretty kind of well versed in like when a guy actually has no hit stuff and when it's kind of just like Peter Lambert today had a no hitter through 4, and I was like, yeah, there's no way this is gonna happen. Like you're just watching his stuff and like, yeah, this is. I mean, good for him, but like no. Like after about 3 innings, like you look and you're like, man, they're not touching it, and it's not close. And I didn't think he was going to finish it. I don't think Joe would have let him go out for the 9th inning, especially if he'd have gotten through the 8th unscathed. Listening to Joe talk after the game, it sounded like if Corey Seager emerged from the Rangers dugout at any point in the 8th inning, I do not think Spencer Arrighetti would have faced him. You do have to remember this was a 1-run game too. It was a 1-0 game, so Joe had to manage. I mean, he had to be locked. He couldn't really think about milestones in history. Like they got to win games, and it was a 1-run game, and he already I think showed some restraint by not pulling him in the 8th inning when he walked the leadoff guy. But then Justin Foscue comes up against a hit, and it's pretty easy. But I thought they were going to finish it. I really did. I didn't think Spencer himself was going to finish it solo, but I thought they were going to finish. That was about as well pitched of a game as they've had all year.
Yeah, it looked really good. I mean, like we said, it was very impressive to watch, and you could tell really early on. And I mean, he's done this a lot. Like he's had a lot of starts like this. He's really coming into his own, and he is becoming one of those guys that you can rely on every 5th or 6th day, I guess, in the rotation that they have for the next month or so. But yeah, he has been such a huge piece of the Astros being able to stabilize themselves a little bit over the last couple of weeks.
And the interest, so we started this by talking about what Spencer said after the game. I think the reason that kind of amplified itself is because they went out the next day and won. Like if he'd have said that and then they come Saturday and Jacob deGrom just completely ravages them for 8 innings, like it would have kind of fallen on deaf ears, right? Because he can say all that and rah-rah and, no one's given up and I believe in every single person in this clubhouse. Then you go out the next day and get shellacked. It doesn't have the same luster. And, that was a gamble by Spencer Arrighetti because what's always the thing? You always say you hold a team meeting like the day before your ace pitches, because like if you hold a team meeting the day before your ace pitches, he's going to go out there the next day and pitch well, and you're probably going to win after you have the team meeting. Saying that the day before you're going to face Jacob deGrom and you're going to run Kaiwei Tang out there in a bullpen game, essentially, calculated risk by Spencer Arrighetti, but it paid off because the Astros did something against Jacob deGrom that had not happened since 2017. They hit 4 home runs, 4 solo home runs off of Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom had not given up. He had not given up a home run on his 4-seam fastball to a right-handed hitter all season. 2 of the Astros' all of their home runs against him on Saturday were off of his 4-seam fastball. 2 of them were by right-handed hitters, Jose Altuve and Christian Walker. And then Zach Cole got on top of a fastball and hit it out, and Yordan Alvarez did what Yordan Alvarez does when you leave him a middle cookie. But to do something, to do that against deGrom with this offense, that had to be among the most feel-good wins of the season, especially coming off of what Spencer did the night before, kind of the emotion and the momentum there to carry that over and to beat Jacob deGrom. That's why I kind of just think this is like a satisfying kind of turning point kind of series for this team.
Yeah, I heard a really cool stat on the Astros radio broadcast about deGrom and his home runs. Do you know what it was?
It was that Jacob deGrom, so he had not given up more than he had 4 home runs in a start is his career high, obviously. He had not done that since July 7th, 2017, when he was pitching for the Mets. He was facing the Cardinals, and we're about to remember some guys because Paul DeYoung, Jed Jorko, Dexter Fowler, Astros legend, and Randall Grichuk, Houston legend. I think he's from here. I think he's from around here. Those 4 guys all hit homers off Jacob deGrom, but the Mets won that game. The Mets won that game 6-5. All of those home runs were all solo home runs, just like the 4 that the Astros hit off of deGrom on Saturday. But yeah, that was something. It was I think you have to give the Astros credit, Christian Walker talked after the game. The one thing they had to make sure they had to make sure they got DeGrom's fastball in the zone. And how do you do that? It's you don't chase the slider. You don't chase the little cutter thing that he has. And look, I mean, he's so good that like they're going to they chase the changeup at times. But it's if you don't chase that stuff and you force him to throw a fastball, good things are going to happen. Christian Walker just ambushed the first pitch of the third inning. Like I presume he kind of was sitting first pitch fastball just by his tendencies, and he ambushed it. But they got into good counts. They didn't chase. They got into fastball counts. And look, it's hard to hit Jacob deGrom's fastball, even if it's coming. It's 97 to 99 miles an hour with a lot of downward movement. But he left a few up, and they were able to really, really ambush him.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that all of the home runs in both games were solos. I don't think you can give up a lot of 3-run, 4 home runs in a game and keep pitching. But I mean, yeah, when you can, and that's how you have to get to these aces. We saw the same thing with like Verlander, right? Like there would just be a couple of games every once in a while where he's just going to give up 3 home runs, but they're going to be solos. And that's how you have to get to these. And the Astros have not had a lot of pop this year, which is part of why, they haven't been able to have the success that they would like. I mean, the offense has been good, but outside of Jordan there and Christian Walker, really, they haven't had nearly the pop that you would like to see. And so, yeah, when you can get 4 home runs off of Jacob deGrom, that's going to be pretty good. And how dare you disparage the ace that was coming up in Kai Tang, man.
Talk about a good sweeper. That's a good sweeper. Holy hell.
He has looked very, very good. Petition to present a nickname here. Can I do one here?
Permission granted.
Thank you. I don't know if you saw, but I was on a Kai Tang pun run during his his start. I just kept posting parody songs with his name in it. But I think we should call him the Tanger Outlet Mall and then just emphasize Tang and out. So we'll see how that goes.
I have no comment. But whatever works for you. I must have missed the
he has a 162 ERA plus. Like he's been really, really good. And I mean, making starts now, that's huge. Yeah, that sweeper is disgusting. I mean, it moves so much.
And this podcast at times has been hard on Dana Brown because look, this is a make or break year for him. A lot of things are going to be scrutinized, maybe more heavily than they would in previous years. But he deserves his props on this one. Kai Tang was a guy that he identified. This was, I know from other people in the organization and from Dana, like this was a Dana Brown special. Like he identified this guy and said, I want this guy. And it was him that even in spring training was talking about, he could help us in the rotation. Like we want to keep the options open as far as starting him. There's a little reminiscent here to Ronel Blanco of he laid his eyes on Ronel Blanco and kind of thought this guy could be a starter. Same thing with Kai Tang. And look, the other pitching acquisitions this winter have not aged well. Kai Tang has, and you've got to give Dana Brown credit for that because to get him, and he's got a couple years of control left. To get him, you gave up a low level, catching prospect, and Dana deserves some flowers for that because it has not always been the best make or break year for Dana, but Kai Tang is a feather in his cap that he should be applauded for because getting that and the Astros pitching infrastructure also working with him and refining his arsenal, getting him to throw strikes because that was the one thing in San Francisco that he kind of struggled with was being around the strike zone. Now, look, he'll still walk some guys, but it was Dana deserves credit for that, especially in a season where
Peter Lambert too.
Yeah, Dana deserves credit for both of those in a season that he's not going to get a ton of credit just given the state of things. That's a good feather in his cap. Can't believe we talked all about home runs. And we did not mention our friends at FanDuel and the Daily Dingers special that they have. But what better time than now to tell you about FanDuel and Daily Dingers? That's right, Tyler. As we always love to have FanDuel as part of our as part of the Crush City Territory family. You can do daily dingers. It's basically a part where you go in, you can make a free pick on who you think is going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost, and you can use for your next bet and get extra winnings on FanDuel. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously we've got it's got where you can go FanDuel.com/podcast. You can make your free pick on who's going to homer. The Astros are headed, like we just said, they homered 4 times against DeGrom. So if you can homer 4 times against Jacob DeGrom, you should feel pretty good going into a Minnesota series against a Twins team that, look, I know the Astros ain't all that. They ain't very good. The Twins are very not good. They obviously, the Astros have the fruits of some of their teardown with Carlos Correa, not on the roster, on the payroll, but they have the fruits of some of their teardown, but this is not a good Twins team. They will run a bullpen game on Monday because the guy that they were going to start, Simeon Woods Richardson, has been the worst qualified starter in Major League Baseball. So they're going to run an opener out in front of him. And then Simeon Woods Richardson is going to pitch the bulk. That's probably not going to go well. They'll face Joe Ryan on Wednesday, who's very, very good. Perennial Cy Young candidate, but in the middle, I think Zebby Matthews is going to start the middle game. So there are some chances for some home runs here if you want to do if you want to play the Daily Dingers show special on FanDuel.
Hey, well, I know we're talking about actual home runs here with FanDuel, but did you see today the almost home run from Jordan that Nimmo robbed? Did you see what happened in the stadium?
No, what happened?
When the ball is at the wall, go back and watch the video. The lights start flickering.
Oh,
as if it's a home run.
I did see that.
That rules. That's so fun. That's got to be the best feeling to rob a home run so clean that the in stadium people are setting off the lights. I'm glad no fireworks went off, but that was great. But yes, you're going to want to pick one that actually does leave the stadium officially and not just wait for the lights.
No, it's too easy to pick Jordan. He should have had one today. Had one off of DeGrom on Saturday, so he's going on 2 games in a row of hitting one out of the ballpark, hitting almost one out of the ballpark. Christian Walker's on a nice little run, but I'm gonna say Zach Cole because for some reason
I was gonna say a different Zach.
Ooh, you're a degenerate.
I'm a proud the founding member of the Degenerate fan club. He's been on a tear too. But yeah, I think both. I mean, Zach Cole can hit a home run every at bat. His power is crazy, but DeZenzo has looked really good too.
Yeah, so we've given you a bunch of options. You got 2 Zachs to choose from, Cole or DeZenzo. You've got Jordan Alvarez. He and his 15 home runs. Isaac Paredes got into the home run trend this week as well. So a lot of options to choose from. If you want to go, if you want to, you can head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to get started. That's FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences with FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball.
No purchase necessary, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
The sweet life of Zach and Coley.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I had to get that out of my brain. Also, you mentioned how bad the Twins are.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins run differential is 45 runs better than the Astros this season. The Twins are -6, the Astros are -51. So take that with a grain of salt there.
The Astros have a better roster. The Twins are playing the Twins are playing a bunch of young guys. They are not actively trying to win. Byron Buxton's still very good. Joe Ryan's good. Their bullpen is a disaster. This should be a place where the Astros offense gets right, and the Astros offense will have reinforcements to help them get right because Jeremy Pena. I saw Jeremy Pena this afternoon after the game in the Astros clubhouse, so he is headed to Minnesota with the team. I would imagine he will be activated on Monday, before the series opener, I should say. Jake Myers is playing tonight in Corpus Christi. Tonight is Sunday. We're recording this on Sunday. I would imagine he will also be activated either Monday or Tuesday in Minnesota. So the Astros are getting some reinforcements back in their lineup. However, as is the case with this season, the minute a guy shows up, another leaves. And that is because Jose Altuve on Saturday night reached into the left-handed batter's box to poke a little slider that tailed away from him. He rolled it over to third base with a runner on first and then did not run down the line. He immediately grabbed his side, grimaced, and I think everyone knew what was happening. And then today, imaging confirmed what was pretty obvious on the field. Jose Altuve has a grade 2 left oblique strain, and he will head to the injured list. They have not officially put him on the injured list yet, but Joe Espada said today after the game that he will spend some time on the IL. It is worth noting that Jose Altuve did have a left oblique issue in 2023. That season, he spent 20 days on the IL that season. This one, I don't remember. I don't even think they specified what grade of a strain it was in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
This one's a grade 2. Grade 2 strains they're not the worst they can be, but they're not a grade 1. Obliques are tricky. You've heard Josh talk about him here, about how he had to deal with them in his career. I don't think he's going to be back by the time the 10 days are up, certainly. You're looking at probably anywhere from 3 to 4 week absence for Jose Altuve, who they will miss him. Do not get me wrong. They'll miss his presence. He is kind of the heart and soul of the team. But if we can be polite, Tyler, it's not as if he was the straw that was stirring the drink in the lineup production-wise. He had a 706 OPS. He was showing signs on this homestand that he was coming out of it. I think he was 8 for his past 30. He homered off of DeGrom. He was starting to get some hits. The at-bats were looking better. He was taking better pitches. He was swinging at better pitches. But the overall production, look, they're going to miss him. Don't get me wrong. But it's not they didn't lose Jordan. They didn't lose Walker. This is
Stop saying those things.
I never said they were. I didn't say they're going to.
Don't put it out. Don't even say it. I keep having to explain this to you. Don't say these things out loud. Okay. This is a clip that exists forever, and it's going to come back to you, and it's your fault if anything happens. Good Lord. Have you not watched this team for the last 2 years? Don't say anyone's name next to injury, please.
But anyway, how they will replace him going forward will be interesting. Bryce Matthews started.
Get ready to learn Aggie, buddy. You're going to see a lot of.
Bryce Matthews went to Nebraska. That's not the Aggies.
Mm-hmm.
Former Aggie Braden Shoemake he will participate. He will be a factor. There's a couple ways they could go about it. Jake Myers, as we just mentioned, he's going to come back. He's going to come back in Minnesota at some point. That was always going to maybe make it kind of fascinating as to what they were going to do with Bryce Matthews, because Bryce has played well in center field. He's taken to center field well. The bat has been inconsistent. Not that Jake Myers is going to come back and set the world on fire offensively, but Jake is he's a more established bat. He's done it before. You've seen him have more success at the big league level than Bryce Matthews has. So it was always going to be interesting to see how they kind of handled that playing time responsibility. Well, now that Altuve's hurt, it would seem that Bryce Matthews is going to get more run at second base. He started there today. They could do a couple different things. It could be Bryce Matthews's position permanently. They could be the everyday guy, just give him the everyday run. Braden Shoemake is left-handed. They could platoon Braden Shoemake and Bryce Matthews and let Bryce face left-handed starters, Braden Shoemake face right-handed starters. Shoemake's most natural position is probably shortstop. It is. That's where he started the most in the minor leagues. He is more of a left side of the infield guy, but he has started 90 minor league games at second base. He can play there. And I think they will give him some looks there, just given how well he's performed. But I think this is an opportunity for Bryce Matthews to get back to a position where he is most comfortable. He's His most comfortable position has always been second base and up the middle in the infield. You can see Bryce Matthews have a nice little extended run here at second base in Jose Altuve's absence.
Yeah, you could. Braden Shoemaker has just been a great hitter.
Yeah.
He's played 16 games for the Astros, not including today. In those 16 games, he has a 909 OPS. He's hitting 341. The best stretch of Bryce Matthews' career over 16 games is a little under that. That was last season from April 17th to May 8th. He had a 903 OPS. Next highest was 870, and then the next highest after that was 806. Like what Braden Shoemaker has done in his first 16 games this season is better than any stretch that we've ever seen Bryce Matthews done. And he's hot right now. Like you're not going to take that bat out of your lineup, at least to me, and especially being left-handed as well. I would imagine that is who you're going to see at least, for the time being while the bat stays hot.
Yeah, I think maybe running a natural platoon would because inherently Bryce would be on the weak side of the platoon, right? Like there's fewer left-handed starting pitchers than there are right-handed starting pitchers in baseball. That would mean Shoemaker would get the majority of the reps going forward. I have not looked at the upcoming probables as to how many lefties they could face. I don't know what that would mean for Bryce. But if they would run a natural platoon at second base, that would mean Shoemaker would get the majority of the reps. I agree with you, Tyler. Like I think you ride the hot hand, and Braden Shoemaker has been the second or third hottest hitter in this lineup across the past 2 weeks. I think you ride that hot hand until it's not hot anymore. Until he gives you a reason to put him on the bench. He had another hit today. He's talking to him a little bit this weekend, kind of about what he's changed. He hasn't really changed much. He said they've encouraged him to use his lower half more. He used to be a lot more upper body with his swing. And if you look at Braden Shoemaker, he's a tall, wiry, kind of skinny guy. And when you have to rely on your upper body so much, that can, not let you get the ball in the air a lot. And they've been impressed with how much he's lifted the ball, how much he's elevated the ball. He's always been able to make contact. The strike zone judgment's always been pretty good. But he's getting the ball in the air a little bit more. He's driving the ball, and that's because he's being able to use his lower half more. But I also think Braden Shoemaker was a first-round pick in 2019. Bryce Matthews was a first-round pick in 2023. These are two former first-round picks. Like they've both got the skills. They've both got a ton of tools. I would say that Bryce probably gives you more upside. He's more athletic. He's got more pop. I mean, we've seen the tantalizing kind of potential that Bryce has, and I think there's more upside to him than Shoemaker, which is maybe why if they do decide to give Bryce the look every day, that may be why. But I'm kind of in the boat with you. Like if Shoemaker's playing this well, and if you've got this, like ride this until you can't ride it anymore.
Everybody close your ears for a second. If we're talking about a first-round pick that has been struggling lately and may not need to be in the starting lineup every day, it's Cam Smith. Cam Smith has looked just really, really bad. Since May 4th, he is hitting 091. He is 3 for 33 with 12 strikeouts. If Jake Myers is coming back, he's going to be in center field. If you're trying to find somebody there that you got a option, that may be one. Just because it has looked very, very rough lately. Not that Bryce Matthews has been too much better, but it has been better than that. Bryce Matthews in the same time frame is hitting 190. Christian Vasquez is hitting 074 in the same time frame, but he is your only living catcher, so that's going to be your guy back there for a bit.
shameless plug very quick before we get out of here, because I got to run to the airport to fly to Minnesota. So we're going to get out of here in a bit, but shameless plug. We'll talk about it maybe a little more in the next episode when we have time, but I just posted a story actually during the podcast. I tweeted it about Cam Smith that I reported this weekend. Suffice to say, this is all mental. Like, he is very, very firmly in his own head. Cam readily acknowledged that. Hitting coach Victor Rodriguez acknowledged that. It's to the point where Jose Altuve watched Cam Smith. Jose Altuve was off on Friday. He didn't play in the game. He came up to Victor Rodriguez like during the game on Friday, and he told him, this kid is mentally out of whack. And Victor Rodriguez, in turn, invited Jose Altuve to come to Cam Smith's early BP on Saturday. And Altuve did that. Altuve gave him some advice just to kind of stay aggressive and don't let it snowball on you. But talking to Victor Rodriguez, he even said, he's worried that he thinks that it's in Cam's head that maybe he will get sent down, that maybe he's putting pressure on himself because he knows if he doesn't get hits up here, they'll send him somewhere where he can get hits. And that's, in the minor leagues.
Good thing we all closed our ears, so
yeah,
no one heard what I said earlier.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he is sent to AAA in this round of roster moves, because they haven't officially put Altuve on the IL yet. That can be the move to get Pena on the roster. Shea Whitcomb is still here. Shea Whitcomb can be optioned for Jake Meyer. Those can be your two moves to get the two position players on the roster. I think where it's going to get a little dicier is when Joey Loperfido and Taylor Trammell are nearing their returns. They're not on rehab assignments yet, but they're getting close. And I think that's when they're going to have to really have some discussions about Cam. As it is now, he's not an everyday player anymore. He didn't play on Thursday. He didn't play on Saturday. He played Sunday and Friday. You could see maybe another platoon with Zach Cole, like maybe platoons Cam and Cole in right field. But then again, Cam Smith is still the second best defensive right fielder in baseball this season. Like, he has not allowed it to carry over to his defense. So there's also that factor too of, do you want a Gold Glove outfielder not in there all the time? But this lineup in the state it's in right now needs offense, and Cam has really not provided that. And he's not provided that really since last season. This is not just a small sample size thing that's been 2 months. Like, you look at the second half of last year, it was not good. And it's kind of where they are with him. But for so long, they have tried to balance developing him against the needs of the team. And they were able to do that last year for a while, because for a while they were winning and they could kind of mask it. But toward the end of the season, that obviously didn't work. They got Jesus Sanchez and he wasn't playing every day. Now you're 10 games under 500 with your manager and your GM in the last year of their contracts. Like, you gotta put the best lineup out there, and it's pretty clear, and it's been pretty clear that Cam Smith's not part of it. So not sure what they do, but when we find out what they do, we will let you know, and we will come back and let you know on Crush City territory. Like I said, I've got to get to Minnesota. Tyler's got to get to, how was Camden's first birthday party? Is the celebration still ongoing this weekend?
It was great. Had a fun party in the backyard. He got some cake. It was a lot of fun. He got a little bike that he's been crushing there, and he is just now old enough to where he is very fascinated with playing ball with me. So I'm looking forward. He's almost walking. I'm very much looking forward to doing that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then Olivia's is in 2 weeks. She'll be 6. It's a big month over here.
Oh, well, you've got a lot of parties to prep for, so that's why we got to get out of here right now. Until we see you again, you can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. Please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. Please like the YouTube video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified anytime we post a new podcast. We will be back next week. We've got one special guest lined up next week. Not going to tell you who, not going to tell you when, because we haven't set it in stone yet. But there will be a special guest that doesn't include Josh Reddick, who will be back next week at some point too. But until then, we will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening.
Oblique, 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 oblique. I'm begging of you, please don't take Jose. Bye.